attending the first ever Precious Nights in Manchester. So we're doing a tour, and Manchester is our first stop. So you guys are the first to view this roadshow that we're on. Just a quick raise of hands. How many of you have been to Precious, actually would have been to Precious Nights, but how many of you have travelled to London, or how many of you have heard about the Precious Awards? Okay, yeah. So for those who don't know, this is Foluke Akinlose MBE. She founded the Precious Awards over 20 years ago, and it started off as an online magazine that then became an award ceremony. So once a year there's an award ceremony that focuses on black women or women of colour in business. So it's anything from the tech world to stock exchange to whatever, like She will cover that. And so we celebrate those women in those sectors. Then she created the Precious Lifestyle Awards, which is the baby sister to the Precious Awards. And the first one that we did was last year, and it was amazing. So I host those ones, and I host it at Google. And we're doing it again in 2 weeks' time on the 25th of June, which is going to be incredible. That award ceremony celebrates women of colour in the fields of lifestyle. So we're talking about hair, we're talking about makeup, podcasts, books, fitness, and it's going to be incredible. So if you guys do want to take a day off and travel into London, or do a sickie and come, I work in HR, I can say that. I've okayed it in your workplaces. Just come there, it's really, really good, and it's really, really inspiring. So the purpose of Precious Nights is to have a panel event of past winners or finalists who are able to reveal their story. Because as you know, when you go to an award ceremony, you will just hear the nominees and then you find out about the winner. And it's up to you to then Google maybe more about the person if you want to find out more. The whole point of Precious Nights is that we create a forum, so it takes place in London on the first Thursday of every month at the British Library. And we find out more about the women and their journeys, so why they founded the company, what the trials and tribulations were on the way. And it's about revealing the gems that you guys can feel inspired to. Just going to take that. Hi. There's always like
take over while I just move my coat. Just hold that for me.
It's absolutely fine. So I was just explaining about who we are, why we're here. I don't mind doing just a quick recap, just so we're all on the same page. So Precious Night, in summary, Precious Nights, which is why we're here today, celebrate finalists or winners who have won awards on any of the Precious Award platforms. So we've got the Precious Awards, which takes place once a year. This year is its 13th year, and it celebrates women of colour in business. So think tech, think just business, corporate. And then it's the Precious Lifestyle Awards that celebrate women of colour in the fields of books, podcasts, hair and makeup. That's going to take place on the 25th of June at Google. It's a total different feel. Each one is a different feel. Each one is unique in itself, but the message is still the same. It's to reveal, highlight, and it's also to inspire. So I really hope you guys get something away from today. Whatever resonates for a reason, and I just hope it gives you something by hearing their stories. So, as I've just explained, we have Foluke Akinlose MBE, who founded the Precious Awards 20 years ago. It's now in its 13th year. The platform is getting bigger and bigger. It's absolutely amazing. And so we'll hear more about your journey shortly. Then we have Dijonn, founder of Young Graduates. So we'll hear from you. And then we also have Roselene Thomas. And last but not least, my namesake, Lisa Maynard Atten. So generally how this format works is that I'll ask the ladies to explain a little bit about their business and what year they were a finalist on any of the Precious Award platforms. Then I'll ask a few questions, and I'll turn it over to you guys to ask questions, and then we'll wrap up about 7:45 where you can continue the conversations and network out here. And when I say network, it isn't just about talking to these ladies here. There's probably a wealth of people who do many different things amongst you all. So it's about, take a seat, darling, just come in. It's okay. So it's about talking amongst yourselves, because you guys all live in Manchester. There could be someone who's a connection here that you can maybe join up with and do something with. So it's about connections. That's the main point. Okay. So, Foluke. She hates when I do this. She really hates when I do this, but I can't help it because she's actually amazing. So do you want to just tell these ladies and gentlemen why you started the Precious Awards?
So why I started Precious? Okay, so when I was a little girl, I was actually born just up the road outside of Trafford. So I'm a proud Mancunian. So as a little girl, I used to love magazines like Jackie, which is 17. They were like my Bibles in a way. But I never saw any girls of colour in them. It's like we were visible in a way. So I thought when I get older, I'm going to launch my own magazine. So when I got older, I moved to London. Realised that publishing was very expensive. I come from a really working class family, didn't have a lot of money. So I just thought about this idea in my head for a long, long time. And then the internet came along. This is 1999. So no broadband, no Wi-Fi, nothing like that at all. So I thought, okay, it's not on my way to follow my dream. So I put myself at HTML, did my first page, and I was away. It sounds simple, it wasn't at all. It was a long story, but it was my passion, and it's still going.
So that's really brief, but we'll come back. We'll come back to you. Because she does this as well, she tries to get out of it, but we'll come back to you. Dijonn, tell us a bit about your business and where you began, and what year you became a finalist.
Okay, so you mentioned Young Graduate, which is my business of 22 years.
Wow.
And we supplies to graduation attire for schools, colleges, universities, summer schools for young people. So that's been going 21 years. And how I came across the Precious Awards, I was nominated, I can't remember what year it was, I think it was it 2015, possibly?
2015, yeah.
Because I started another business called Savvy Guest, and it was about, going back in my story, my journey was how do I get access to those people who are striving, who are running organisations, and we never had access to them. How could I open the doors for people like myself, and probably yourselves in the audience? So I started Savvy Guest so we could facilitate pre-career conversation with business people, employees who are doing the jobs on the ground, so they could have a conversation with you guys to talk about the navigation through the system, how it was for you, just like we're doing today, really finding out a bit of background. So Savvy Guest was born probably 2013, and then I was a Precious Awards finalist 2015, if I remember now. And we've gone on to sort of win awards since then, and it's really about diversity, inclusion, about recruitment. How do we get the same access in recruitment from just not ground level, at senior level, and why is there that disparity? Why we're not shown the doors? And I think I sit on a couple of national boards as well for Career Ready and Young Enterprise. And I think being on those boards has opened my eyes up, to what discussions take place, the language that's used in the boardroom, and it's helped me into, to shape the business into what it is today.
So, hello again, everyone. My name is Roselene Thomas. I'm the director and founder of a company called Panellists Consulting Services, and we specialize in providing software testing services. So, in other words, we test websites, mobile apps, and other software products that go into the market, before maybe major bugs are found. So that's what we do. We found out issues with the websites and we report it to the client. The business was founded in 2009.
And the reason why we started off this business was I was already within the IT sector, and during my work experience itself, I could see a lot of issues being faced by the managers and the head of solutions, etc., within the testing department itself, and there was no proper solution to maybe a lack of proper testing done for a particular product, or just through the process itself, there were so many sort of loopholes, and that's when this idea struck us, and we started off this business. And coming to when was I a finalist? I think it was last year, 2018, and it was for the SME category, medium enterprise category, that I was a finalist. I didn't win, unfortunately, but yeah, I was a finalist for that. And yeah, that's a little about the business. Brilliant, thank you. Lisa? Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Maynard-Atem and I work for myself as a social media consultant. I set my business up in December 2017 and previous to that I worked as head of social media at Harrods. I did that for 7.5 years and that's how I came into social media. And it's quite an interesting story in terms of when I actually pitched to them to actually go and work there, they actually offered me a job in buying. And to be honest, I am crap at buying and I'm crap with money, so I figured there's no way I can do that. So I then went back to them and said, look, I think I can add value from a social media perspective. So I wrote a very short 4-page proposal, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't think I would get it. I thought a company like that would give it to a big agency. So I sent the proposal off, went on holiday with my friends, came back, and there was an email saying, oh, they want me to come for interviews. So I think I went through about 8 months worth of interviews back and forward to London. And then I started working there in September 2010. And then from there, when I joined, I think they had about 26,000 followers across Facebook and Twitter. And then when I left in November 2017, they had around nearly 3 million. Wow. And to be honest, I've always been a very ambitious person, very driven, but my thing was, I'm just going to go in and see what happens and just work my ass off and see where it takes me. And I didn't have, I'm not going to lie, I didn't have a massive strategy. I just thought, I don't want to go back to Manchester. I really like the discount, and I'm just going to see. I'm deep, but I'm not that deep. I'm not going to pretend that. But yeah, I mean, jokes aside, it was tough to go into an organisation that's very traditional, very luxury, and that social media wasn't really a thing. A lot of people there, still felt like it was something that geeks do in their bedroom. So for the first 2 years of those 7.5 years, I spent a lot of time kind of building up support within the business. And that, like I said, that took me about 2.5 years. And then from there, I just literally worked pretty much every day for 7.5 years. And then social media started to get more attention, it started to get press, we were nominated for awards, and it kind of just grew from there. And then I was a finalist for Precious in 2016, and to be honest, I was quite surprised when you emailed me, because I was like, why would they be nominating me? I just didn't get it. And I guess the thing was with me, I was just so in my work, I never really kind of stopped to think, actually, look at what I've achieved and look at what I've done, because I was just busy getting on with my work, and I had my targets. I wanted to set up the Instagram and get it to 1 million followers, because Facebook and Twitter already existed, but Instagram didn't. So I was just so kind of in the zone of getting the job done. I didn't really think about what I had achieved along the way. And I think it was only really when I got nominated, when I became a finalist, I thought, actually, yeah, I've done all right here. And then it got to kind of, I think it was January 2017 when Harrods hit 1 million followers. And I thought, right, okay, I need a fresh challenge now. And a lot of people thought I was insane. They're like, why would you leave that job? I'm like, well, I don't want to do it anymore. And I kind of want, if I can do that for them, my thing was, what else could I achieve? What could I achieve on my own? Plus, as well, I wanted to get out before my 40th birthday. So, a milestone. So I figured, right, okay, this was my year. Because I wanted to go out on a high, because my thinking was that, somebody else will come in and take the job, and that's all well and good, but I will always be that person who put them on the map from a social media perspective. Whatever happens from here on in, nobody can ever take that away from me. So I kind of got everything I wanted. So I left, like I say, in November 2017. They put me on garden leave, which was great, because I had a whole month to do what I wanted, which was just the dream. And then moved back to Manchester at the beginning of December that year. And I'd already had clients. I was fortunate that I already had clients lined up before I started, before I left my job. So that was quite good. And then aside from that, I also lecture at the London College of Fashion, and I do various talks and things like that. So yeah. So far, so good.
So good. So you're all service-based, somewhat. So you all provide a service, and you all spotted a gap in the market. But have you ever, along the road, especially starting out in the beginning, did you ever have any self-doubt? And if you did, what was that voice that was in your ear?
Yeah, I mean, all the time actually. I just thought I couldn't do it, and I knew there was a need for it, obviously, but I just thought no one would listen to me, what my team's crap, I'm not going to get an audience. I had self-doubt all the time. But my biggest support with my family, really what I was doing, so they really helped me sort of persevere really, so I was very lucky in that way, but yeah, it was really difficult.
So you said your family helped you, and I guess you knew why you were doing it. So would you say that the motivation as to the why was strong enough to keep you going through the doubt?
Yeah, especially now.
So I asked that question because, you know, like when you want to do something, right, and that self-doubt is kicking in. I think there's different people. I'm a person that when the self-doubt is kicking in, I ain't doing it, you know. Because the self-doubt for me is, what is the point? And I don't do it. And I know that's a weakness of mine, so I try and work on it. So it will cause something in different people. So that's what I'm asking, because you can hear the self-doubt. But if your motivation is louder than that self-doubt, then you're just going to pour water over it and continue. And it will pop up again. But you're pouring water. Yeah. So that is like resilience to me.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I mean, especially now, I've got two nieces who are 16 and 14 and 3.
Yeah.
And but then being a woman of colour, being successful is kind of a normal thing. Because they see pressures all the time. But when I was growing up, I didn't have that at all. So that was my motivation to get the stories out there. So look, we are women of colour doing great things, not just running or singing or whatever. We're running businesses, especially in leadership, corporate life. So that was my motivation.
So Lisa mentioned how she felt about being nominated for the award. You've got an MBE. How did you feel about winning the MBE? What was that like?
Disbelief. When they rang me, this guy rang me from the cabinet office, and I was absolutely, I said, yeah. And I was really busy at one day. And I was typing away on my computer, and I said, cabinet office, I want to offer you an MBE. I was like, Colin, piss off, I've got the phone down. So I took like from America messing about, that's what people do, you know what I mean? I'm just going around back, and this is not Colin, whoever that may be. This is the cabinet office, will you know, and I was like, oh, okay. I still think they were joking. So I said, send me the letter, and they said, yeah, we'll send you a letter. And my mum was there, like, I said, Mum, do you want to give me an MBE? She said, of course they do, darling. Do you know what I mean? She was not surprised at all, do you know what I mean? But I didn't believe it till the letter came with the whole official MBE. So, yeah, it's surreal. Still is, really.
And then in terms of what that meant to you, like was it validation, was it recognition, like what was it? How would you sum up that feeling?
It was a bit of a weird one for me because I'm not a real big fan of all the royalty and I've always been anti-monarchy and anti-establishment, that's just the way that I am. I started MBE with my family, with my mum and my dad, just like, hey, they even loved it, or Hong Kong, so I even loved all that. That's why I said yes to it, but I suppose there's no big recognition than being acknowledged by the Queen for your work. So, and it helps me help other people as well. You know, so that's why.
So would you say it has increased your status, value? Those 3 letters are powerful, you know.
Yeah.
She just doesn't use it to. I keep telling her, you're not working it.
I use that every day.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to use it more.
Yeah.
I am trying to use it more.
Is it
Obviously.
still there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And Dijonn, any self-doubt when you set up your business?
I think, yeah, both businesses, it's the doors being closed and not really valuing who you are as a person. I think that's the doubt. You start sort of thinking, well, I've got this idea, what is the value to my community against the 10 doors or 100 doors that have been closed? So the doubt is there, but I think the sense of purpose of why I was wanting to do it has driven me to, you know, where I am now. And if a door does close, I always think, well, evaluate that because they didn't understand or I've not articulated what should be happening well enough. Go back to the drawing board and have a look at what my strategy is and then move forward with that. I've had thousands of doors, sure. I've had to kick a few down. But it's a long journey, and I think people, and there's a couple of people, well, a few people in the audience that know me, and I'm so grateful for you to come in anyway. But I think people knew me in the community, didn't know what I was doing. But in my mind, I was saying I had to get out of the community, move myself out to enable me to help them when I came back, because I would have been a stronger person, understood who I was and what value I was bringing. And I think if I stayed in the community, in the circles that I was in, I'd never have learned that. I had to step out of it. So when I came back, people were saying, oh, where have you been? Rich and switch. No, I've still not got any money. But I'm here, serving a purpose.
So can you elaborate? Is that more about the support that you had here and the people around you, the lack of support, or?
I think it's not knowing. It's not that there's a lack of support. I think the community I come from, we're all sort of on the same page and we're all struggling for the same issues. But if we're all saying the same thing and we haven't got the outside influence, it's difficult to make a change. So what I did, I stepped outside for a while and I went quiet for a while. Honestly, I was working, but I went quiet for a while to understand what I needed to do in order to help my community. So now I can come back and I can share what I've learned. And I've only started sharing it probably in the last 3 or 4 years of what my journey was all about. So now I'm able to come back and say, look, I can open a few more doors now because I'm a bit more connected, my networks are bigger, I probably know a man who can, which when I was in the community I didn't know that and I wasn't exposed to that. So.
And that's really key.
Thank you.
In terms, so I come from the same community and it can be a mindset of, because of our environment, our upbringing, and that is perpetuated by some peers. In order to change it, like Dijonn say, you have to step out and come back. It's like stepping out and coming back, and that's when they value you more, because you have the experience to share and articulate some of those experiences.
I wish we didn't have to do that though.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a something that we overlook. Okay, so Roselene, please tell us business, how's it been?
Right, okay, so my journey is sort of a mix of everything that I just heard at the moment. So I'm originally from India. So I came here at the age of 19 to pursue my master's, and growing up as a child I've always been very ambitious and I always knew that my life should make a difference to people in one way or the other. That's a thought that I've always grown up with. So when I came here, I had a scholarship, so I was offered a seat here in Manchester Met and finished my master's and just working through different sectors. I was lucky enough to get into the IT sector, and that's when, like I was saying, I sort of figured out this gap in this market, and I knew that, okay, this is a sure shot sort of business idea for me. And that's the first thing that, we straight on jumped onto. But again, coming in from a different country to a different country can have its own sort of problems, if that's the right word. So for me, just during my entrepreneurial journey, I think I've had the first major issue that I've faced is visa delays, and that's, I think for about 3.5 years, I actually was just put on hold. Like, this was on 2 different occasions, where I had to apply for my entrepreneurial visa and then had an extension as well. So it was just 3.5 years of waiting. Because you're not allowed to travel, you're not allowed to
move into sort of any business contracts, if you like if I have to go to Europe to sign in a contract, or if I have to go to India or anywhere else, I knew I couldn't do anything. I just had to wait, try to make things work online, but somehow, we can say that it's a digital world today, but somehow people do trust you better when you are there face to face, when you're able to come and sign in the contract. They want to see you, they want to see the way you speak, they want to see the passion in your eyes, and it's still that real world. As much as things are working online as well, but there is still a lot of emphasis laid on that face-to-face meeting, and that is where I was losing out on a lot of business myself, and that tested my patience to in a crazy way. And I had to build a lot of strength, because there were moments where I was like, okay, is this really for me? Why are things getting delayed? I was supposed to hit this business, I was supposed to make money for this particular deal, but I'm just losing out because I can't go there, or for some reason or the other. And then I was like, no, let me not give up. And I just, even before I started off my business, I didn't have the right finances either. So, I think for about 5 or 6 years, I was just working for 7 days a week as well. I was
doing different shifts, and my first motto was to just build in that right investment. Post that, I went in for the visa change, visa switch over. That's when the delays hit me as well. So you can imagine just being hit over one shot after the other. And it's so hard, especially because when you're away from home, and like you were saying, Foluke, having a family beside you is like a really strong foundation for many of us. But unfortunately, not everyone can sort of fall back to that at all times as well, when you're from a different place. So that did really test a lot of my patience, a lot of my integrity. I did feel crumbling through different situations, but I knew that, I have always grown up with this notion that I should be able to make a difference out of this, and I knew that providing employment to people is my calling in all ways. So, after starting off my office in Manchester, representing a few people, I just started off my office in India as well, and I've represented a few people there as well, because that's how we got it. And it was a great time, not as good as I would have expected it to go, of course, because of the different delays and things like that, but it's still going, it's still steady paced. And I have big hopes for this as well. And I also had an opportunity to start off my second business, which I haven't really spoken about elsewhere. It's a clothing brand as well. It's called That Glam Chick, if anyone wants to check out later. So this is the second business that recently started off as well. So now, so far so good, but all I'd like to say is, I know it's very easy to give up, especially when you're going through so many different challenges. No 2 days are the same. Some days you just want to leave everything and go back home, or you're just like, screw it, I'm not interested in this anymore. But just try and find out the reason why you started in the first place. Forget all these different hurdles that are coming your way. Just try and find out that reason that you started off in the first place, and then somehow you will derive strength from it. Just remember that the next day is definitely going to be better in one way or the other. All you've got to do is not give up. Even if it's a little effort that you can put into the day, just push yourself through the day. If you want to take a break for a couple of days or a week or whatever it is, get yourself away from all the chaos. Just go have a break of friends, just travel, whatever you like. Because I enjoy long drives. I love going to the countryside, and Wales is one of my favorite places. So my husband and I just travel very often. I somehow help me in different ways. Because I like that feeling. I like finding myself, just reminding myself of it. This is so much.
Any self-doubt.
Different things come in your life where you don't really make sense of it, but always know that there is a reason why something's coming your way. There is some blessing hidden in that particular journey, and this is what I figured out. So during that wait, that's when I sort of started finding out more of the clothing side of things and how crazy it's got in Manchester as well. All the major brands like Boohoo, etc., they're all from Manchester. So I sort of got the second business idea during that time as well. And then I also started writing my book, which is going to be published very soon. So amazing. Thank you. Always remember that there's a reason why something happens. It's not a divine protocol or whatever. It's just that there is something that you can learn, something that's going to benefit you in the future, and that is why something happens. It may be bad at the moment, but there is some value to it that you can definitely add. So just figure that out.
Hit a million, I can sleep now, but did you have any self-doubt about leaving?
I think I did. I think everybody has self-doubt, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it would be abnormal if you didn't. But I've always had my mum in my ear. My mum is like, she doesn't always come across, I think, this way, but my mum is probably one of the most confident people insofar as I could go to her tomorrow and say, I'm going to be an astronaut. Like, okay. In her head she might think I'm mental, but she would never discourage me from doing anything. And I think I kind of get a lot of my strength from her, because whatever I would go and say to her, if I say to her, like say, if I want to change careers tomorrow, my mum would be fully behind it. And you know, she doesn't, I don't think she realises it, but she's actually quite a massive support for me and for my sister. And I think that's where I get a lot of it from. And then when I do have moments of self-doubt, I think, well, you know, my mum would just tell me to go ahead and do it anyway, so I just do. And my thing is, I believe that everything starts with trying. You know, you have, if you do nothing else, at least always try. If I hadn't have written that proposal for Harrods, I wouldn't be sitting here today. You know, and I, you know, like I said before, I did think, oh, they're going to give it to a big agency, they're never going to give it to, you know, a one-woman band like me, but they did. And yeah, it was hard work, and there were times when I just wanted to quit and go back home. But I thought, you know what, I've come this far, I'm just going to keep going. And I think that's the thing, I just constantly push myself and just keep trying, because you don't know what you can achieve until you try. And I think as well, we kind of have to reframe our thinking when it comes to things like self-doubt and, you know, making mistakes and failures. Like, we have a really negative view of failure, and I don't personally agree with that. So I think, you know, how can you ever be truly successful if you've never experienced failure? You know, things have to go wrong in order for them to go right. You know, and I get it. You know, when something doesn't go to plan, of course it's disappointing. But I think you just have to kind of think, you just have to soldier on, and you have to know that there's a bigger purpose for what you're doing. But that's, when you're in the thick of it, that's very, very hard to hold on to. But I think for me, I always say to people, if you do nothing else, just try. Because I'd rather fail having tried something than fail because I didn't do anything.
So in regards to self-care, how do you guys self-care? Anyone can go. I go out a lot. I go out a lot. I think the reason I do that as well is because in my previous job, I spent most of my time focused on work. I was so driven on achieving things, I think I kind of neglected my personal life, and that came back to haunt me, because there were a few instances when I lived in London where I was quite ill, I had to take time off work. So my thing was, when I came back to Manchester, I was still going to work as hard, but I wanted to make more time for my personal life rather than just focusing on my professional life. That, from a professional point of view, that does not help you. You know, and I learnt that the hard way. So I think for me, spending time with family and friends is really, really important. And as well, being brutally honest, just not doing things, you know, no is a very powerful tool. If I don't want to do something, I don't do it. If I don't want to see someone, I don't see them. If I don't want to speak to them, I won't speak to them. And it's not because I'm a bitch or anything like that. It's like, you know, time is precious. And I think time is more precious than money. You know, you wouldn't waste your money. Why would you waste your time? So for me, I think the ability to like turn around and say no is very, very powerful, and it's a great tool in terms of self-care. If you don't want to do something, don't bloody do it. You know? Nobody can force you. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. And I try and I surround myself with the right kind of people, with good people, because I think that is very important as well. One of the things I learned in my last job, that not everybody was happy for my success, and not everybody was my friend. And I think if you want to be successful in anything, you surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, and people who are in your corner, does you a lot more good than you may actually realise. I think you just, and I say you have to like say no is a very, very useful tool. I use it a lot.
I think for me, I've got it down to working probably 3 days a week now, and spend like Mondays and Fridays. When I say not work, I do work, but it's just more office work. I have no connections with the outside world on a Monday and Friday. I'm just at home doing me, and it's usually strategizing, because I like quiet spaces. I take 2 months a year out now and spend it in the Caribbean doing absolutely nothing at the end of the year, because I work hard. This didn't happen overnight. There was a long process. 21 years. But, yeah, so what I do is I work all year, and I've got it down to 3 days where I do some serious heavy work, 2 days of admin. And when I'm doing my admin, I always have motivational talks going on in the background. I never have the TV on. I'm either listening to T.D. Jakes, if you've not heard of him, look him up. It'll be Oprah, Lisa Nichols. Any of those motivational speakers I have in the background, so it keeps my juices flowing. Because, and I think as you said, Lisa, it's having that noise, that background noise of people who kind of say they're for you, but they're not really for you. So I kind of I've managed to do that now, and like I say, at the end of the year, I go away from December through to January, and
I think I'd
with
work
my
a lot
family.
harder to myself. Wouldn't you work a lot harder if you could just do that? I think it's a good strategy.
It works.
Yeah.
And I think I do more in the 3 days than even if I do in the 5 days. And those 3 days, I can really pin down what's of value. And it's not, I mean, I've come up with the platform Savvy Guest because I was getting loads of calls. Oh, will you meet me for a chat? Will you meet me for a coffee? I got those calls. And if I'm getting 50 calls a day or 50 LinkedIn requests a day, oh, it would be nice to meet up for, I wouldn't have enough time in the day for myself. So it's the saying no politely. And also just saying, look, if you want to meet with me, log on to Savvy Guest, I'm there on the platform and I'll have a coffee with you, but it will be managed through the process. So that's what happens. I do that. I offer myself out for that as much as companies are offering their own employees out for that. So yeah, it just works really well that I can do that now. And the businesses, both businesses, the first business we have to be here because we're hiring out the cap and gowns and we're bringing them back. So our busiest period is usually June through to August. That's when I've lost like 3 stones and I don't look like myself anymore. Quite happy with that for a moment. But then we have sporadic dates throughout the year because a lot of alternative education projects are now looking at achievements. But I don't have to be here to work the other company's Savvy Guest because it's all through digital platforms. So I just manage the back end of it and everything is. The content is owned by who I just put in the profiles up, the companies are putting their profiles up, so we just manage the facilitation at the background. So I don't have to be in the UK to do it because I can do it on my phone, which is brilliant. I can wake up on a morning and manage what I'm doing. So it's still rolling whilst I'm not here. That's the way forward. Yeah, so yeah, that's self-help for me.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I mean, it's took a long time to get to that. I don't think it's just happened. Like I say, there was days when I was waking up in the morning, children were asking me, is it beans and toast again, Mum? So that's all we've got in the purse. You know, you can have a patty on a Friday. But you know, it's that kind of thing that I've had to go through, and it's took a long time to get to this stage where they'll say, we can get McDonald's now. But you know, those were the times where I was working 40, 50 hours a week into the night because I knew something had to be done for the morning. And when you start up a business, you've got to remember you're the receptionist, the finance person, you're everybody. And you have to fit like 4 roles into that one role. So you find yourself, you are working, and especially at start, it's burnout, and you've got to really understand yourself at that point, otherwise you fall ill. I think I did at one point, ended up in hospital because I'd just been sort of doing absolutely everything to do with work. I had to get it done, and then I felt sick, and then nothing got done. So you really have to pace yourself. Yeah.
For me, of course, I can relate to the falling sick part, and that's when I had to put some sense into my head. What I decided was to stick to a routine. So you have to have some time for exercise every day, whether it's 10 minutes walk down the street or in the park or the gym, whatever it is. And then have your meals at the right time. I don't care if the world is going upside down, but you need to eat what you need to eat in terms of fruits, include the fruits in there, the veggies. I was really bad at all of this because, like I said, my family's back in India, so there's nobody sort of shoving things on your plate and forcing you to eat it. So you just eat whatever junk you can while you got to get some work done. But that can have adverse effects as well because mentally, physically, emotionally, you're strained and drained, and that's why people end up falling sick. And that's the first thing that my mom yelled at me. So I was like, okay, let me get the vitamins. It sounds very stupid, I know. So the first thing I do is have lemon juice with some honey in the morning, hot lemon juice. So your vitamin C is sorted, and it starts off with that. And these little steps can actually avoid some critical issues down the road as well for you. And sticking to a routine definitely helped me personally to keep myself sorted, even if the result of this particular project is not as expected. It's 6 o'clock, I know it's time to go to the gym now, so I'm leaving all the stress behind and going and working out there. So it's always helped out in terms of fragmenting it that way, and that's a suggestion that I'd definitely love to give.
Thank you. Foluke?
What's the question again?
Self-care.
Self-care.
I don't really, to be honest, I really don't self-plan, but I try to spend a lot of time with my family. My nieces are 14, 16, so we're really good company now. So you're right, they're great company, they've got a really interesting view of the world. I'm very honest about telling you what that view is. And I love Merlot, which is another passion of mine. And soaps. I love soaps, Coro, Amplay, Neighbours, Hollyoaks, EastEnders, Professional. That's my self-care.
Prosecco is good for self-care.
Oh, really?
Whatever works. It's for everyone to find out what it is. Whatever works. It's absolutely fine. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received and who gave it to you? Anyone can answer first. I know it's a difficult question.
Probably from my dad. Something that I've heard a lot of times, but the first time he told me, if you're going to do something, do it well. And I think that is something that's been a great motivator, but also sort of held me back. Because I feel there has to be something that's been perfect before it can be out there and either. Something I've always remembered. Yeah.
For me, it was my mum, and she always said, if you couldn't afford it, don't borrow.
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's my grandmother. She passed away when I was just like probably 12 or 13 years old. But she always said that don't give up. You know, no matter what you do, just put your heart and soul into it, but don't give up. Sooner or later, it'll just the light will fall on it, and everyone will know what you're doing. But just don't give up.
I think mine was my mum. She always used to say to me, she still says it now, that you can have whatever you want in life as long as you're willing to work for it. So she says that to me all the time. She said that to me since I was little, so I think that's probably the best piece of advice I've ever been given.
Gosh, thank you. Do any of you guys have any questions? Still marinating? That's fine. I have more. Oh, you do? Yes, Helen.
Dijonn talks about having those conversations at board level and learning a lot along the way. How did you learn to transfer your language? Because obviously your first time must be quite difficult and quite daunting. So how do you equip yourself for that kind of environment?
Okay, so when I started on the first board, it took me probably 3 board meetings before I even spoke. I didn't even understand what was going on. Well, I knew why I was there and why I was invited onto the board, but I just didn't understand the language, the strategy that was being used. And I was sat with heads of the Into, Trafford Centre, Trafford Council, and they were all having these discussions. What I tried to do was weigh up, should I be there first and foremost, and what could I add in terms of my value. So I had to kind of sit there for a few meetings before I was comfortable with saying something, and then confident enough to bring my perspective and add value to what was being said on the board. And then I've sat on the boards for coming up 4 years now. So now we have, I suppose, in every culture there's an unspoken code where I know in the Caribbean, but we do this, and we know instantly what we mean. And for those who don't, I'll just explain. You know, somebody says they're going to borrow something, or they're going to lend you something, and they never come around with it, we'll go, yeah. That's what that means. That's the unspoken word in our culture. And they have an unspoken word in those boardrooms as well, that I had to kind of understand, why do they keep doing this? Or, and I'm thinking, this is what we do, and we understand that. So I had to kind of get to grips with that as well. And now I start doing things like, just to, you know, I do understand kind of thing. But what was interesting, I was able to bring a new and fresh perspective for them to understand who I was as Dijonn, and where I came from, and what they needed to understand about me. Because I think also in the boardroom, you'll probably find there's no other women of colour. Usually, you might find there's a woman, and then secondly there's a woman of colour. I was the only woman and the only woman of colour, And we had to go around the room and introduce ourselves. And everyone was saying, you know, I'm Bill from such and such place, and I'm the CEO, and I'm the chief executive. We go around the table, and it gets to me, I think, what do I say? Because nobody's given me any eye contact to start off with. It's a look, a glance, and then heads down. And then I thought, oh, what's interesting about me? So when they got to me, I just said, oh, I think you know me, I'm really famous. And they all looked up, because everyone's interested now. I said, my name's Naomi Campbell, have you not seen me in the papers? So that kind of broke the ice, to start laughing, and then I say, no, my name's Dijonn Taylor, actually, and where I'm from. But I think you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and just listen, I think, listen and observe the language that's going on before you start making an input. I think the worst thing you can do is try to say or try to recommend anything, and you're really unsure about what's happening in the room.
That's a really good question. So yesterday I went to a diversity and inclusion event at work. I was a minority, obviously. I said one thing, and you know you can feel the room turn, and I'm just like, you don't really want to hear anything, because my lens is the lens that you need in order to meet all your quotas, and not just a token quota, it's actual change quota. But you're actually not listening. So I'm a HR business partner for a large advertising company, and I'm on a senior board. And it's difficult, so what we're talking about with what we're picking up, honestly, it's really difficult to navigate. It's really difficult. So again, going back to self-care, how you navigate yourself in those situations where you know what's going on because you feel it. But if you're young, because when you're young, you don't necessarily know how to put the feeling to a thing. But the thing is a thing, and it's only when you get older and you maybe read certain books, you maybe talk to your mum, and talk to your daughter, that you realise that thing is called microaggressions. And that thing, if you don't know is a thing, will send you crazy. But it's a thing and it's real and it has a name. It's very real. Code switching. I gave up doing it when I was 24. But more recently, I walked into work like this yesterday for the first time. I've been in that job. I've been in this job for a year on the 20th of June. And I normally wear my hair part in, slip back in one with a little bun on the back. But it's just easy. Like, I don't cut my hair for 4 days because the eco styler works really, really well. Right? It's convenient. But I just decided on Monday, let me just do something different. Oh my God. They're lovely, but it still comes out wrong. Like, my boss is lovely, but he said, oh my God, you look hot. I'm HR. Could be sexual harassment. But I like my boss, and I know that he's coming from a good place, but I've chosen to work that out and then give him grace. Do you see what we had to do? Another CEO said, another director said, oh, you look different. I'm not sure if I like it. But you don't have to like it, and I didn't ask for your opinion. But again, I have to somewhere within me be like, you know what? But I'm still beautiful, I'm still okay. His opinion doesn't matter. He needs to shake it off. The amount of internal work that you have to do,
and find perspective.
It's tiring. Wow. And then when I thought to myself, well, why didn't I do this before? Because they are really cool. I don't have the energy. I'm hiring, I'm restructuring, I'm strategizing. There's enough things that I'm doing without having to work out my feelings. So when we talk about, and this happens in all spaces, I'm just targeting you because you literally have to work with all organisations from the perspective of gain, and that's a different level. So hats off to you because you've been doing it a long time and you're still standing. So actually we do, sorry, can we just, because my the level is. So thank you for saying that. Are there any other questions? No? Yes?
My name is Danny.
Hi, Dan.
I just want to know if people have the same feeling that they are feeling. So I'm here for Capture My Own as a business, a platform where you can book photographer going on holiday. So you go for a honeymoon, surprise proposal, so you don't have to get strangers to take your pictures. So you just book your photographer. So we're in 20 countries at the moment. I have this feeling if being called to come and preach about my business, I feel like maybe I need another woman of God to go with me. is most times when you go some places, you feel like the moment you get there, you say, oh, I'm new to teach and I do it, you're like, okay. So I don't know if other people feel that way, because I've just built a team of, I'm from Nigeria, so I built a team of, okay, Nigerian, Italian, and somebody from India, because I feel like when we're from different countries, a mixture of people feel, you feel more welcome than when it's just you. So I don't know if other people feel that way. I don't know if it gets to me, but you get that feeling at the back of your head. It's there.
I think when you do what you do really well, you will have the confidence to go in any room on your own and be vocal enough to say who you are and what you do without having any fear of that. I think that develops over time with confidence. But, you know, whatever service you're providing, do it to the best of your ability. And then be able to, when you're pitching, be credible with your pitching on, well, what have you done and what have the results been, what have the outcomes been. If you can get to that point, you shouldn't have to have anybody on your side going in any door.
Yeah, like I said, I don't let it get to me, but it's like you get that feeling when you go there, and the moment you say, oh, I'm here to teach about, you're expecting like, okay.
That's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's their style all the time. It's their style.
And you know, that's, if you continue doing enough of those, that feeling will go, because it's about confidence. It's about being in a situation and growing familiar with it. And like Dijonn says, just owning what you do. If you own what you do very, very well, it doesn't matter if you're the only black woman pitching. If you really, from your product is good and they're interested in it, they'll take it. But if you get that down and like Dijonn said, there's that sense, the sense in it, just like we would if you were nervous, are you with me? But then if you're in an all-white environment, you really, you do have to dig a little bit deeper and really come out firing, because that is just the journey of life in this country.
Yeah.
So it's increasing confidence,
self-confidence. I just try to, sometimes you feel like, is it just me or some people think that way? But sometimes maybe other people think that way.
It just comes with practicing confidence. I mean, when I worked at Harrods, I was one of a few black faces. Like, you probably count on one hand how many black people worked in that organisation. And that, you know, I'm quite a confident person, but even for something like me, that was quite intimidating. But my thing was, nobody else could do my job. Nobody could do my job as well as me. So I was just going to go in there and just give it my best shot. And as time went on, I became more confident and I became more comfortable. So I do understand what you're saying, but I think as well, sometimes it's good to make yourself a bit uncomfortable, because then you've got to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a comfort zone is a great place to be, but nothing grows there. And I think to make progress, you do have to make yourself uncomfortable. Like I say, my very first board meeting at Harrods was in front of the board of directors. I was the only black woman there. And I was, you know, in the 7.5 years that I was there, one of the great things about Harrods is you have a lot of women in senior roles, but the amount of black people, as we find in many organisations, are few and far between. And I was one of 2 black women in the company in senior roles, and that, you know, even for someone like me, it was quite intimidating. But over time, I just kind of became more confident, and like I say, I was very self-assured in what I was doing, and that helped me massively. But I think you would do yourself a disservice if you went in there with someone else. I think you should go in there on your own, stand on your own 2 feet and hold your own ground. You know, and if people have a problem with it, then screw them.
Just to say thank you for all these stories. I think they're fantastic, they're very inspiring. I just wanted to understand in terms of how to deal with that passive aggressiveness. By that I mean, I think it's something I'm starting to notice, because I'm also in a senior role. I'm a head of policy in a big awarding organization, an example. And I think from my previous experiences, I've probably picked up on the fact that because I'm black, because I'm a woman, if I sort of try to express myself, it's sort of interpreted as I'm angry, or it's coming across as I'm negative. And I think I've sort of tried to step back a little bit. And the good thing is every sort of job has sort of enhanced my skills with dealing with the sort of passive aggressiveness, or the sort of the retaliation I will be getting from my colleagues or from my boss or from anybody that in a senior position would probably give me that sort of feedback. So I've been fortunate to deal with a very aggressive manager, and now I'm dealing with a very passive-aggressive manager. I've picked some skills, which I think it's also very good. Maybe something that I could pass to the lady at the end, we sort of saying about going into a business and feeling like, or walking into a place and feel like they don't want to buy your story. But I found that it's a study I want to try and find out that the girls in the UK, or a lot of young women in the UK, they are taught to smile even if it's fake. And I'm trying to emulate that, because it feels like when you smile and you say it, I don't really like it. and honestly, I found it's a trick, and it's marvelous. And I've said, I will say to the smile, it's bad, but yeah, let's carry on. And it's really working perfectly, and I just think maybe, I felt like maybe as a study I need to conduct it, and I need to carry it out with anybody. If you've got daughters, if you've got anybody who's black and you want to express yourself, say it with a smile. I read Michelle Obama's book, and if you see how she talks, she said she had to change her demeanor and her way of being to be able to say to the smile, then it's okay. And I think it works a trick. And I think that passive aggressiveness, I think we need to master it as black women, because if you say it with, I don't like it, then it's like, hang on a second, but I don't like it. It's acceptable. I think it's a really good panelist. Just like about this.
I'll let them say, yeah, and then
okay, I see where you're coming from. I do think there are times when you have to put a smile on, but I think you have to take each situation on an individual basis. There are times when I have to deliver some news. You know, sometimes I will put a smile on my face, and there are other times when I will, obviously with the greatest of respect, I will tell it just like it is. I don't necessarily feel that it's always right for me to go in, why should I have to say it with a smile? The situation is what it is. Deal with it. You know, like I say, I don't apply that in every situation, because I get what you're saying, but equally I'm not going to sit and smile for the sake of it. You know, I've been in situations where I've had to fire people. I'm not going to sit there and smile whilst I fire you, and probably try and spit in my tea or something. So I think I do get where you're coming from, but I do think that should be taken on a case-by-case basis. When you need to smile, smile. If it's not a situation that warrants it, then don't smile. And I think as well, that's about other people's perceptions. Just because I'm a black woman, don't automatically assume that I'm aggressive, or I'm going to sit there kissing my teeth, or giving you dirty looks. I mean, I do that, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend I don't. I might walk out of the meeting, I've done that a few times in my last job, just kiss my teeth and like said a few things that they don't understand, but yeah, we'll get into that. But you know, I think that's about people making assumptions about you, and sometimes I don't think it's often, I don't always think it's wise to play up to those assumptions that people have. It's like, yeah, I'm a black woman, and what? You know, he's a white man, does that mean he's going to act in a particular way? No, he's just who he is. So I personally think that whilst I get where you're coming from, and I do think sometimes that is necessary, I don't think that's a strategy that you should necessarily adopt all of the time, because it builds a perception in people's minds.
And I totally agree. I think there's situations where I will say,
sometimes you do just need to pitch your teeth.
Does anyone else?
No, I agree. I think that's the reason why I'm not an entrepreneur. I mean, well, I'm an entrepreneur because I can't hide my feelings. I have to be authentic.
You're an entrepreneur though.
No, where I am an entrepreneur.
Oh, you are.
I'm not in the workplace.
That's
I have to be, honest, and I can't bullshit anybody.
I agree with that.
I am authentic, whatever the situation is. What I say is what it is, and that's it really.
Just to add to that as well, because just to be conscious that we're all from different parts of the world, and it's like a cosmopolitan city or atmosphere where we work in. So, like you were saying, some people may take it the right way, some people may take it the wrong way. So, for me, necessarily, it's not about smiling all the time, but just keeping that politeness angle in terms of the tone of your voice, just coming from a friendly place. That's all you need, because we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, whatever. But I think a hint of politeness never goes wrong. So that always works eventually. So that's what I'd like to add there.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, the most important thing is that you show up as who you are. Integrity is so important, and so is authenticity. Because even when you smile like that, so yeah, it's great, it's fake. And then they're going to have another reaction because now you look fake. So it's about, for me, it's about delivery. So I'm talking to you like this, and if I have to fire you, I'm still going to be talking to you like this. There is no difference in my behaviour, but I have to fire you. Now I'm going to explain the reasons why I have to fire you, because of I don't change who I am, but I'm being very clear in my delivery. Now, for me that takes self-awareness, and it also takes mindfulness. So if you want a technique or a tool, then I would say learn or look into coaching tips. That's all you need. Maybe watch a TED talk, maybe get a coaching book. Understand first, thank you for coming. I know you have to run off. First understand, I think first of all understand your stuff. Like have an awareness of who you are and how you show up to others. So you ask your friends that you trust and family that you trust to ask how you occur. So if you say, look, I don't feel like I'm passive aggressive, but how do I come across to you? Then you get a bigger understanding about how you're being, because we all have blind spots. Like I think I'm really aware, an aware person. I've done a lot of work on myself. I'm still going to have blind spots. So there's things that I don't know that you see about me, but I can't see because it's back here. So as a friend, as a family member, it's your job to bring this behind to the front so I can begin to look at it and check it out. That's how we grow. So I don't believe I'm passive aggressive. I hear your voice. There's nothing passive aggressive about your voice. It's so soothing. So, but if there's anything that you can work on, then it's there to be worked on. But do not change who you are to be less than or more comfortable to someone else who already views you as being aggressive by the very virtue that you're black. Do not do that. Because you're losing all your integrity. Don't do that.
I think absolutely what you say is spot on, and I think that's exactly what I've sort of realized as you go through life, as you get to the next stage, as you grow up, as you pick up different skills and expertise, and you just realize authenticity and integrity is going to be compromised with. It's what makes you and what your platform in this world. So.
But it's an important question. This goes back again to navigating. Do you see how it's not easy? Just look how many things we've got to think about before we even do a good job. It's tiring. Any other questions? Yes.
I want to take it back to what you were saying earlier about having to move out of your community and then come back in to be able to help it. Because what I find is I've always lived in my community, I still live there now. I've just moved around the community in different areas, and I've been involved in the community in different ways through my mum and through different things that I've done myself. But what I tend to find an issue with is pricing and within the community. So I want to do things within my community. I'm a photographer and I also do other things as well. But what I tend to battle with is pricing. Is that I can give somebody a price and they'll say yes, or I can give somebody a price and it's like, oh, why is it that expensive? And I'm having to constantly explain and explain. And I've been in business for a very, very long time now. I've been at the beginning stage of knowing nothing for a long time, and only within, say, the last probably 3 years of having the opportunity to actually put more effort in and obviously have the time to obviously do the business the way I want. I can now obviously say no, like you say, to the people that I want to say no to, and obviously yes to the people that I do, but then I don't want to block out my community because not everybody has the same money, I know that, and I still want to be able to do certain things within that, but I don't want to have to be arguing my price every single time. And that's one thing that I find I'm having to do, is that I'll have a fee and a set rate, and then I'll have different things that will relate to that. So obviously depending on what you want, then I will do this, but then I'll give you additions. And obviously if I know you in the community and I've known you for a long time, I'll probably throw in a few things, but I'm not going to say that. But people always come expecting, and it's trying to get away from that. It's like, how do you do that without kind of blocking them in that sense?
I think... Okay. First of all, you've got to value yourself as who you are in business. I had that struggle with my graduation ceremonies. I'd sort of have a price for the same price for everyone initially. And then I'd have community groups who would want the same service. And I would have a discounted rate, and I found that even though I gave them the discounted rate, they still wanted less than what that was. I mean, I had one who said you could only, we're so hard up, you can only find still got the actual email.
Can I just stop you for a
Yeah,
second?
sorry, you guys have to go.
We're going back to London. So I was going to say,
Oh, thank you.
like these guys are from the British Library in London.
See ya.
Thank you so much for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
See ya.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it was, we could go, our children are so like from a disaffected area, disadvantaged, well so probably another 3,000 in the area, so why would you even insult me by saying £1? I mean, I'm a business. I think it goes back to, you've got to value yourself. They don't go in Asda and buy the cheapest food. You know, they're not buying my mum's. They're going to buy Heinz beans. Do you know what I mean? So if they're looking at value, you've got to put yourself in that position. You know, you are. I mean, I've seen your work. It's Tasha, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got my glasses on all the time. I've seen your work and I know what you can do. So don't undervalue yourself. Now I still have a rate for my community groups, which is slightly less because I know they haven't got it in the pocket, but that's if they're paying for it themselves and the parents are. But if it's coming through any of the other kind of establishments like the universities or the schools, they have a budget for it. So don't price yourself out of the market, price yourself on value. And if you know, well, like you said, you know what you can do, I know what you can do, so there's no reason why you should be cutting your prices that low.
I
if
used to, but I don't do it anymore, but it's just that struggle of having to explain. You feel like you're having to explain it.
Don't explain.
This is the price, this is my time, if you want it, that's it. There should be a story behind it.
The story will be you think you're nice.
It's too nice.
I am too
Is
nice.
that a saying?
It's too nice.
Is that like a regular saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think too nice.
Because you value yourself.
But you know what, I think it's about, she's full of herself as well, you get that. But you know what, you've got to be full, you've got to have your cup runneth over to be able to give back. So you're not going to fill my cup, or I'm not going to fill my own cup. I can't offer you a service, so yeah, I'm a bit full of myself. I can offer that back.
And that's about growth as well. After that comes, as you grow, you just get stronger in and on.
Anyone with a different opinion? I was just going to say a similar thing. I think you got to. I think first off, you have to accept that not everybody is your customer. It's that simple. There are people who will want your services, and there are people who won't. And I think to your point, you know, how you have to look at it is if you want to help your community, and many of us want to help other people. How can you help others if you don't first help yourself? You have to be in a position you have to be in a strong position in order to do good and pay it forward for other people. If you are selling yourself short, you're never going to get to that place where you can actually do good for others. And like I say, not everyone is your customer. You know, I have set prices for things, and don't get me wrong, if it's a charity, obviously I will look at my fee structure, but my fee structure is what it is. And I know what I can deliver, I know where I can add value. If that's not for you, then that's absolutely fine. But I'm certainly not going to get into the realms of explaining myself. You know, I'm just not taking it there. Because like I said, you know, I'm very much about giving back to other people. I can't do that if I'm not in a strong enough position in the first instance. And I think that's how you have to look at it. And I think, again, it's like my point earlier about, you know, the power of no. And don't get me wrong, you know, that comes with time. It's very easy for me to sit here and say that. I've been working since I was 16 and I've grown in confidence over the last X amount of years. But it's like I said earlier, I do think no is a very powerful thing. And it's valuing yourself as well. There's nothing, I would never think, if someone said to me, this is my fee structure, I would never think, oh, they're clearly up themselves. Like, no, you know your shit, it's good for you. I would never, you know, I know some people do think that way, but I certainly don't. And I think it's firstly about valuing yourself, and secondly understanding that not everybody is your services aren't going to be for everyone. There are people out there that will use you, and there are people out there that won't, and that's perfectly fine.
I think just adding in as well, for me it's not a community opinion as such, but usually when we go to clients based here in the UK, they'd be like, okay, if you're going to outsource this work to India, it will be cheaper for you, so you've got to give me more discounts. And I'm like, no. How does that work? It doesn't work that way. I'm going to give the best possible rate that works for us as a business, for Thomas UK as a business. And whether I do it here or in India, it doesn't really matter, because it's my business, it's our business. So because I'm getting this work done by somebody in India or in the UK, that shouldn't be your concern. The concern should be the quality is good. As long as you're confident that your quality is really good, your services are brilliant, you shouldn't really worry about anyone. And that's what my business angel told me as well, just before starting off. If anyone sort of tries to negotiate in a way that's demeaning or lower than what you're worth, have the courage to say no. So that's definitely what you should do.
I think, just to add, there's a slight shift when you're coming out of your community as black business startups. You're shifting from a community mindset to a business mindset, and you don't always know how to navigate that. And you're running a business, but all your contacts and your circles are people you've known in your community for 20, 30 years, and you think, God, they're never going to pay £40 for a haircut. But you know what? I think that's the self-doubt that creeps in, because if you put, Naomi in the corner is a hairdresser, and I know, I don't know what your prices are, but I know you're a good hairdresser, and she's featured on TV and stuff. But I know when they go to Naomi, they know what her quality is, and I know they're not bartering the price because the price is set. So it's that shift, that mind shift of, yes, I am from the community, but I'm a business person, and you've got to know how to, run that business as a business person, not as the community person, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think you'll always get it though as well. I'd say we don't go to Topshop and do that, so you can't do that in here. You just wouldn't do it. You don't go to Topshop.
I can't even afford Naomi.
She's good. Well, like you say, not everyone's for you, and I think if the price is not right for you, that's fine. I'm not your hairdresser, I'll just carry it out there.
Exactly.
You've got a choice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? There are you gentlemen left in the room.
My husband.
But you still are the only man.
Yeah.
Family or not related. Do you have a question at all?
Well, maybe to audience based, but obviously these kind of events, in terms of networking and just making those contacts. How do your own communities, respond to yourselves as well? Do you understand what I mean? For example, you've got this audience here who obviously, listening to yourselves and taking in various advice and making notes and so on. But do you find that people within your own communities respond to you in a different way, or because a lot of people, when somebody's successful, a lot of people don't want to see that success.
Or there's competition. Competition. So actually, from an awards ceremony point of view, do you find that other people who have awards also support you?
No.
So do you feel alone, even though there's pockets of other?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of awards that have come up that are just identical and precious, just in different venues, which is irritating really, because the more we work together as a community, the bigger and powerful we could be. So that is annoying, but London's really, it's tough to be an entrepreneur in London, I think. I know it's tough down here as well, but I think if you do something for black women, people don't really want you to do well, I don't think, a lot of the time. They come to your event and say, oh, this is amazing.
Human nature though as well. So
yeah.
Even raise things, it's not just human nature that some people just don't want to see other people succeed. They're rather more happier to see you fail.
Yeah.
When you watch programs like Britain's Got Talent, so everyone's more laugh at the jokes and just thinking, it's a comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's bigger for us. I think there's a disconnection.
There is.
Disconnection.
Like we did a survey with
sorry.
We did a survey with Santander recently. It's like a survey of women of colour in business. The first one that's been done in the UK by British Bank and an organisation like Precious. And people, rather than people say, no, this is amazing, I've got the form, they're like, email me, go, how did you get this? How do we get into Santander? Yeah. It's like, are you going to part of the survey? And that's just so, it's driving me mad.
We're disconnected.
Yeah.
I get asked the questions, how have you got into Virgin? Because I went and sort of spoke to a few people and built your network. Why is it we can't get in there? And we'll try. Nobody opened the door for me. And I think I don't know, I think people want to be pleased for you, happy for you, but you can kind of see it's like half-baked, you know, the feeling's half-baked. Oh, okay.
And is some of it not projection, or would want it and not knowing how to
It's
do
all
it?
projection,
Yeah.
that's all it is. It's projection, but I still feel like we're just from a place where, due to how the institution is set up, we're all still out here, not even thriving. A lot of us aren't thriving. We're still trying to survive and navigate. Look, we spoke about hair today, we spoke about the smiling, like, we're still doing this. We're still doing this because it's still there. So in terms of thriving, we're not all in a position where we're able to do that. So it does feel like we're competing because we still want to be the first in something. You know, that's the thing. But on top of that, we're still disconnected due to our historical context. I'm so sorry to bring it there.
I was just going to say that it's historical and it's a cycle, and it's a cycle that needs to be broken.
Exactly.
Enough's enough.
Exactly.
We should be supporting each other. The time is now. I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a head cold. I don't normally sound like this. But the time is now. I'm in a full-time job, and I've worked in the City Council for over 25 years now. And I can relate to lots of things that, certain ones have spoken about today. And you do develop a thick skin. You have to. You really do. But I've been through traumatic experiences, a lot. But you've still got to come through it and be you and do you. But you need support from other black women. It's so important. And I just want to thank you guys, all of you, for bringing this event here today, because it's worthwhile, and we have to remind ourselves that we are women of worth. We always will be. We always have been. But we've just got to keep going. But we've got to support each other. That's all I wanted to say.
Does anyone else want to say anything on that? I think just to the point that was just made, I think we do definitely need to support each other more. My own personal experience is that, I find that when I've encountered other black people, black men and women, they're not always as happy for my success.
No.
And I think that's quite sad. I don't care what colour you are, I don't care what gender you are. If you're doing well, my thing is good luck to you. I think there is enough in the world for everyone. But I do think from a community point of view, most of my biggest champions have not been black people. I can count them on one hand. And two of those would be my mother and my sister. And I think that's a travesty. We are, as a people, we are so talented, we are so diverse. We are an incredible people. And I don't think we sometimes support each other enough. And that always makes me incredibly sad. One of my biggest things when I worked at Harrods was, as I said earlier, I was one of a few black faces. And I always feel like, why are we not doing more to champion each other and push each other forward? I would always when I resigned, and quite a few black girls contacted me about that job, and I made it my business to meet them for coffee. I gave them the inside scope, and I thought, I want one of you to get this job. I gave it to a bloody agency, but, and it's like, no, actually, I want to see more black faces, especially black women in that organisation. And I just feel like sometimes there's not enough of that, and it'd be good to see more of it. Going forward. Oh, wow.
I think what the lady said, how do you break the cycle? Like, I've been in my industry now for 17 years, and this conversation's been going on for 17 years. Everyone's saying the same thing,
longer than that,
but no change happens.
For me personally, it just takes each person to do the work, and then hopefully each person do the individual piece of work to stop the continuous projection and jealousy. Then if we're all doing that work, then as a society and as a community, we can be in a more supportive cycle. That's the only way we're going to do it.
I bet a lot of people talk and are not following all the action.
So true. A lot of people will say, I'm one of those people, I follow up with everything.
everybody. If you give me your card, I may not do it the next day, but I follow up. The amount of times when I've done that, and I hate saying this, but the amount of times I've done that with fellow black people, 9 times out of 10, I never hear from them again.
But you see, it's the stuff.
And it really annoys me.
It's still the stuff. You see what I mean? So,
But you know how
so
you...
before, so 1 second. So before we go anywhere, right? Before we go anywhere, before you guys even come here, you're with yourself. Then yourself goes to work. Yourself has come here. Yourself has a relationship. So whatever you've got within you, you're projecting in every space you go to. So you have to look at yourself. And I feel like people at the moment are not doing that. We want makeup to fix it. We want amazing hair to fix it. We want the holidays to fix it. We want a man to fix it. The man wants us to fix it because we're meant to fix it all. And actually then society wants us to fix it all because we're black men, and that's what we should do it. And it's got to stop. So I think another thing we need to stop doing is, when we say black and white, it's black and white, right? Everything is always black and white. It's never black and Asian, black and Chinese, black and, I don't know, Cypriot. It's always just black and white, and we need to detangle ourselves from that. White people need to do their work. Black
Hello everybody, this is Mark Radcliffe, off the radio. The time is now 7:45 and the library will be closing at 8 o'clock. So if you can please start to gather your personal belongings together and make your way to the exits, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Nice! Do you know what, at the British Library, we don't get that, but what we get is like it's a rave, like the lights go on and off. Oh yeah, it's like a rave, it's like time to go now, time to go now, time to go now. Alright, so we've got 1 minute, but just to finish on that point, and I say this because I'm a qualified counsellor, so I just feel like all of you guys will definitely have an opinion about this. I'm not taking an opinion away, but from a counselor's perspective, it just starts with us. That's how we detangle it. So we can have a major discussion about it, but it starts with us doing our own homework. That's it.
To stop the perpetuation.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you do it with your children, then they have passed it on to home and you're not doing it.
Exactly.
So it's never going to get fully eradicated. Well, in my time, I know it won't.
Come on, girls.
But I know that I'm... Naomi saying it, God help me with my years.
So we do have to wrap up. So let's just leave it on high.
Yeah.
So what piece of advice would you like to leave these ladies who are here with?
Piece of advice?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I think I would say, don't give up on your dreams. Precious for me was a dream when I was a little kid. And I pulled it through. A lot of perseverance, a lot of struggles, a lot of shit. But I'm here, and it's a big moment for me being here, being Precious home. It's a really
And
big
you're so
deal.
humble with it. It's absolutely really, really beautiful to see. You're very, very humble.
Don't be crying. But my thing was, don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah,
That's
brilliant.
my thing. Yeah.
Very quick, you guys. Sorry.
Okay, so goals, have them, and wherever you are, it's a transportation to your goal.
Yes. Love that. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Have your vision board,
Yes.
write down your steps. Each time you lose track, just keep your eyes on your vision board and just follow it through. It'll all work out at the end.
Thank you. Mine is really simple. Always try.
Yes.
Everything starts with that. Always try, because you just never know where you might end up.
I love that.
That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. Please can we give them a round of I just realised I never told you my name. It's not my police event, and I do different things for Foluke on the Precious platform. Did you want to say something?
I want to do selfie, that's alright.
Okay, we can do a selfie, but also before, even I'm going to get kicked out because the man on the radio said so.
Yeah.
I do want you guys to just quickly mingle, because it's important.
Feedback form.
Oh yeah,
And the feedback forms are so important because it allows us to be in these spaces, which is incredible. So do you mind us doing a selfie with you guys? So okay?
Thank you.
Alright, so please stand up, turn around.
Try and get in the picture.
Because selfies look good,
Stop hiding.
What's that on the chair?
Oh, God. Oh, look, there you go. He's sorting us out right there.
Oh wait, let me do this one first. This is a selfie. Just my eyeball in the shot. Okay, does it look as good as what I saw in my head?
I do remember your face, but I can't remember your name.
Thank you so
Wow.
much. Guys, again, thank you
Lovely
so
to meet
much.
you. And you were a photographer now.